Welcome to section 12.1 of genetics. In this section, we'll be memorizing the details of Cri du Chat syndrome. Let's get started. This scene takes place inside of a bank and is a classic story about a hero and a villain. In this story, the hero is Cat Lady. Cat Lady caught wind of a bank robbery, so she came to the rescue. In this image, Cat Lady is our symbol for Cri du Chat syndrome. In French, chat means cat, so we thought a Cat Lady superhero would go well with this idea. So again, Cat Lady for Cri du Chat syndrome. The villain is Penguin Man. Notice that he likes to bring along penguins on his bank robbery adventures. Unfortunately for him, his evil tyranny is coming to an end because Cat Lady is about to dismantle him. Look at how she's clawing off his arm with her claws. Those must be pretty sharp claws. This part of the scene is to help you remember that Cri du Chat syndrome is caused by a deletion on the short arm of chromosome 5. The fact that Penguin Man's arm is getting cut off with 5 fingers should help you remember chromosome 5. So arm getting clawed off with 5 fingers for short arm of chromosome 5. As Penguin Man's arm is falling to the ground, he screams in pain, just as anyone would do in this situation. The scream here is to help you remember that one of the clinical features of infants with Cri du Chat syndrome is a high-pitched meowing or screaming sound. So Penguin Man screaming for high-pitched crying or meowing. We chose Penguin Man as the villain for several reasons, but one of them is the fact that penguins tend to have very small heads in relation to their bodies. The small head here is to help you remember that one of the clinical features of Cri du Chat syndrome is microcephaly. So small-headed penguin for microcephaly. Next, notice that Cat Lady is destroying some sort of canister on the ground. This canister was full of poison that Penguin Man was planning on administering throughout the city's water supply. Luckily, Cat Lady smashed the canister and is taking care of the evil villain, so the city should be safe now. Canister sounds kind of like epicanthal, so we've used it here to help you remember that epicanthal folds may be seen in Cri du Chat syndrome. So canisters for epicanthal folds. This bank employee was minding his business when Penguin Man decided to barge into the bank and make everyone hostages. Most of the hostages have fled from the scene, but this guy isn't too bright, as you can probably tell by the way he's reading the newspaper. Notice how it's upside down? Yep, that's because this man has intellectual disability. One of the clinical features of Cri du Chat syndrome is intellectual disability. So again, upside down newspaper for intellectual disability. Okay, let's turn our attention to these dead-looking trees. Why would the bank have these ugly, dead-looking trees in their lobby? As you can see, they're being killed by this poisonous smoke coming through the vent. They weren't dead until just a few seconds ago, as Penguin Man desperately tried to kill everyone in the bank as his last act of terror. Fortunately for everyone in the bank, Cat Lady has it under control because she just destroyed the vent with her whip. The vent being destroyed here is our symbol for ventricular septal defect. Vent sounds like ventricle, and the fact that the vent is broken in a vertical direction, just like the orientation of a ventricular septal defect, should help you remember that a ventricular septal defect is a clinical feature of Cri du Chat syndrome. And with that, you should have everything you need to memorize about Cri du Chat syndrome.